Hey guys, Shane McMurray from the Wedding Report. In this episode, I interview Heather and Madison of Life Events. They're an event planning company in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Enjoy. All right, so let's talk about your business. Tell me what goes into the work you do, the name of your business. Tell me where you guys are located, all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, this is Life Events, and we are an event planning service. We plan every wedding event, birthday parties, whatever you can, mostly weddings in the DFW, that's Dallas Fort Worth area. We focus primarily on the planning because we have so many fantastic vendors out here that we can relate and we have relationships with. So we like to coordinate with them to fine tune like the areas like decorating and the facilities, venues, catering, band, DJ, all that good stuff. So
Okay.
our main purpose is to help brides make it completely easy with what they're doing as far as their planning process. And we take out all the guesswork as far as like the researching and everything like that.
So like full service, or are you guys doing it like only a like month of, or a couple months
No,
of
we
full
did
service?
we used to do month of, but we found it so much better for us to do full service. So we are completely full service now.
Do you find that it's better because you feel like they get an actual better result in the end because you can work with them from the beginning, or is it like it's too much at the end, right? Like they've done all this stuff and then you have to stitch it all together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like doing it the full service because it does help with the process for them and for me, so that when I'm working with vendors, that I have that built relationship with them, and that we can communicate a lot more efficiently and effectively, so that the smoothness and the ease of the event planning process
Awesome.
happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I come to you as a lead. Tell me what that process looks like for you. How does that work? And then tell me what kind of goes in after that.
Sure. Well, what we do, we follow up however they feel comfortable. Sometimes brides are a little standoffish at first, so I communicate with them via email or text. I open the doors for my text messaging, phone calls if they so please, or even like Facebook Messenger. I'll do that for them. And then we eventually meet up after the second or third meeting on the phone. That we'll meet up in person, just so that they can actually get to know me and see my face and put a name with the face.
Yeah.
Or a face with the name.
Yeah. I knew what you meant.
Yeah. And then that way they get the opportunity to start that connection process with us, and we'll walk through like everything that they need to know. I try to help them understand the market of what it takes to put into the planning process, and that it's not easy, and that at the end of everything you would wish you would have a planner. And I go to other blogs that people have posted online where they have said, I wish I would have had a planner at the end of the day. So it's kind of helping.
Yeah. Do you find that brides today are more wanting to text or Facebook message, right, to interact versus like picking up the phone and calling someone, or even email in some cases?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, most of our brides nowadays are about the texting aspect, and then also getting on social media and stuff. So we're trying. Madison heads up social media here, and she kind of makes sure that everything is up to date, and we are streaming that as much.
Yeah, it's crucial, right? Because they're on there, man. That's where they're. I mean, a lot of couples are that's how they source their vendors, right? So, do you feel like that switched over? Like maybe 5 years ago, people were more reluctant to text, and now do you see the switch? Do you feel like it's switching over to more text?
Well, I'd like to say I know the real answer to that because I'm actually 5 years old. Our business is still brand new, but I think it really has, as far as like from the experience that I have had working with other companies and events. And even just doing my own wedding, you know, the communication is definitely, it's a lot more versatile, I think.
Yeah.
And I like that because not everybody's a texter. Not everybody
Right.
gets on the phone. You know, more people are better with face to face. So I want to be as open and as receiving as possible with any kind of avenue that's out there.
Yeah. Flexible, right? I mean, you
Yes.
have to be flexible today.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's say they book you, right? And you guys are signed a contract, ready to go. So what happens after that?
So we basically walk through budget, and I know that's a nasty word. The B word is so bad,
Yeah.
but we break it down for them, and that's where wedding report comes in with what we do. We actually take them through and show them the averages that actually pan out within the DFW area, and I don't actually get to the details of Arlington where we're located.
Yeah.
But I do say the DFW area and show them that the averages and how much they would be paying. And then that shows them our affordability and how we can help them with cutting costs so
That's
that they're
great.
not trapping themselves into something that's outside of what they can afford.
Yeah.
And then if they, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was just gonna say, I think people get sticker shock because, initially it's like, oh man, it's like $28,000, right? But they don't. I think they don't realize they actually spend that over 16 months, right? 12
Right.
months. It's not like you're throwing down 28K right now, boom, right?
Right.
You're spending that over a period of time. But I think it's great that you guys actually break down the whole thing for them
Mm-hmm.
and show them, obviously everything's custom, right? But the averages really help people kind of just get a sense. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I know I'm going to spend probably 28K. I know I'm going to spend. That's more than I think I wanted to spend. I only want to spend 12K. So how can you help me there, right? And then that's where you guys can help them focus on. Look, what's important to you, right? This is important, or is that important? So on. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and that's where that's why we want to focus so much on the planning aspect. I know a lot of companies like do two things at once, like their planners and their decorators, or the planners and florists, and that's fantastic. I'm not diminishing that at all because that's an asset to them. But with live events, I want us to focus on the planning aspect because there are vendors out there that do specifically, different budget ideas and stuff like that, and we can pinpoint those people and get the quality that they can afford. And that's what we want to be efficient and experts on.
Yeah. How far in advance do you think are people booking with you guys prior to the wedding?
Right now we are booked. We have stuff in November. We have an upcoming event in November. So it right now we're still, of course, we're still new at everything and we're still in the learning process. But I've had it up to a year. I've had brides book up to a year before their event and stuff, and that's ideal, obviously, for us.
Sure.
Because that gives us that time to establish that relationship, plus get all the details worked out so that they're not overwhelmed and stressed with that.
And I'm sure you've gotten few that come to you, right? Like, my wedding's in 2 months and I got to get all this done.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we've had it where actually 2 weeks before.
What?
Yeah, and they needed somebody to help coordinate and put everything together. But we did it, and we're willing to do it if it's absolutely a dire emergency. I don't ever want a bride to ever feel like she's overwhelmed, no matter what. So, we work with what we can and what's available, and if it's necessary. Like if we have a year out and they want me for day of, I tend not to do that.
Yeah.
If I can establish that relationship a year out, I'd rather do that than do actual. But if they call me the month before their wedding and they need somebody, I'm there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So now let's say you guys signed, you go through the budget, and then now what happens? Like, are you constantly in contact with them? working through details, or is it like, okay, a little bit of hands off, let me do a bunch of work for you and then let's connect back? What happens in between?
So I have a checklist that we set up. It is color coded, and it's based on, excuse me, that was my Michigan accent coming out.
Right.
It's color coded based on who they need to contact. So for if this is a vendor task, or if this is a bridesmaid or wedding party task, or if there's something that you guys have to do by yourself and I can't help you, then they know and they go through that. I contact them within, so typically it's like the 9 to 12 month range and stuff, and I at least contact them at least twice to 3 times, and they have freedom to call me anytime. I don't give them a limited amount. That it's an unlimited thing, because they're in the process of doing this for the first time, whereas I've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
So, or for 5 years underneath life events.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, but yeah, so the process, the color coordinating helps them to simplify the checklist for them, so that if they are hands-on, then they can have a part in still filling out their task and doing it, and I can help them and advise them. Whereas I will, if they're like totally hands off, I have nothing, I can't do this without somebody, then I'm able to say, okay, I can do all these things for you, but still, these are things that you have to do by yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's a good way to do it because, colors actually help visual, right? It really helps you like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Oh, I'm all green. Okay. All right, cool. That's all I need to do. That's good.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
How much work do you think so you're doing all this stuff, getting things prepared, and then you get to the day of, right? But how many hours do you think you got in a wedding from the time they sign till the day of? How many hours do you think you're putting into a wedding?
For me or for them?
For you, for you
Okay.
guys, both of you.
For us, I think it's I don't really count, and I probably should.
You should be counting, yes.
Yes, I should. But I'm pretty sure I put in at least 2 months worth of work.
Wow. Okay.
In total. But that again, that's over a span of 1 year.
Of course.
And I'm meeting with them at least twice, two to three times a month, or in that span of 9 to 12 month period and stuff. So it's at least once a month that I'm meeting with them. But other outside stuff like researching things for them and everything like that, that's probably like, at least a 12 or 24-hour day of researching all together with, because I've already,
you already have you have connections, so it makes it a little bit easier, right? So
exactly.
versus going to a website where you have to look at 25 people and try to figure out which one you want to.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. What do you see that is like more important for couples right now? Like the couples you're working with, what do you think what are they saying? Hey, these are the more important things to me. These are not so important. What do you see as most important?
The two things that come up to me with what is more important for them have been photography and venue. Photography, obviously, because that's going to last, and I'm now moving more so toward videography. A lot more people are doing more because they can. They do have access to drones and things like that, and can do something special and have something that is a little bit more media, like I'm trying to word it, but like not media friendly. It's a little bit more exciting, I guess, and more
instead of a still photo, it's more like
professional quality. Like you're able to create these videos that look fantastic,
right?
For and thinking back just like 10 years ago,
right?
Where it's like disposable cameras,
right? Even handhelds, that they used to have back in the day. So, and then as technology is progressing and stuff, just being able to cut it, and
social media is a huge part of it too. Is you're wanting to post about your wedding and share your photos with your family and friends,
and then of course live. Actually, my last wedding, she had one of her um, family members Facebook Live people because she's out of state, and so they were able to watch her and stuff like that. So I see a lot more of the photography, videography being more important for them. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the venue, their location is totally like where that's going to be. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm pushing for planning as being the most important.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
you know, I just think that that's so crucial because I just want the families to be involved and not have to work the day of a celebration. You know, that's the one thing that you don't want to think about. So
yeah, it's a ton of work.
Yeah.
I mean, as you already know, right?
Absolutely.
It's a ton of work. So yeah, that's great. So what advice would you give couples today? If you had to give them one piece of advice, most important thing, what would you tell them?
Get a planner. Yes, by now.
Don't do it yourself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I honestly, and it's not just because I'm in this business. I just see the stress and the overwhelming pressure that comes on with brides when they are trying to think of so many avenues and where to begin and looking at everybody's checklists and asking this one or going to this website or, if you just get a planner, they simplify it for you. And even if it's not even me, I mean, just any planner.
Yeah.
To help out, and especially day of coordinator, if you can get it. We do day of coordination on top of planning. So we are there from beginning to end and even a week after to just follow up and kind of give them a heads up of like what's to come. A lot of brides don't know that you have to go and get your Social Security updated or, your license renewed or all these other things and stuff. And those things can be overwhelming to somebody who's jumping into the marriage sector of everything. So a planner is much needed, and absolutely, I know that some venues have coordinators, but I don't know how far they go as far as like getting the personal details and actually, literally, if necessary, holding the hand of the bride and groom and helping them through the process and stuff.
Yeah,
so
some other folks that I have interviewed said that a lot of venues are requiring coordinators. So if you have a planner, or either they have a coordinator on shop, or you have to hire a coordinator as part of the deal because they just want to make sure that you guys are, that they're following the process and there's things that don't happen. So
yes,
yeah, more and more, yeah, for sure.
So cool.
So let's flip a little bit, talk about the business side of this. So so tell me what's working well for you guys right now on the business side.
Well, how do you feel about the social media side of it?
I feel like social media is really a prime way to market right now. That's been, I think, the most helpful is just making sure you're keeping that updated. And really that's what's going to draw people to the website, because so many people are scrolling through Instagram and Facebook. Instagram especially is helpful for event planning because it's all about look.
Yeah.
And so just having someone scrolling through and maybe stopping because they're captured by an image and taking the time to, get informed and get interested enough to actually be able to go from there straight to your website so they can get more information.
So sorry. So sorry.
No worries.
But that's definitely.
Do you feel like Pinterest is a player in this space as well, or is it more? Because I feel like Instagram is. The couples that I've talked to always talk about Instagram. I mean, people mention Pinterest, and I think they use it for other stuff. But what are you guys seeing?
Well, as far as Pinterest go, we do have a Pinterest board, and it does help my brides as far as like when we're talking and we're pulling inspiration and everything. I haven't worked the Pinterest yet. The Pinterest. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry that just dated me.
All right. Yeah, I got you. The internet's right.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But I haven't worked Pinterest as far as the business aspect yet. I see that it can be beneficial in reaching out because a lot of brides are always. I actually just did research on what the trend is that a lot of brides are looking for, and wedding dresses happen to be the number one thing in there. So when they start looking for their wedding dresses, they're already in the mindset of researching wedding stuff. They're going to start looking for decorations and all those other things and stuff on top of that. And so if I can already establish a board, then they're like, oh, who is this person that has these great ideas? If she's got all, she's putting all these things together, I can go and talk to her about like what she's doing and stuff like that. So I want to start incorporating. We do have a Pinterest link, and that is also connected to our website. But I want to be able to work on that a little bit more, because I think it will really be beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. So on the other side of that, what would you say is not working well right now? Could be anything like, coordination and supply chain, or, just trying the logistics of getting stuff done, time management. There's so many things in business today.
Yeah.
And that everybody struggles with, everybody struggles with it. I struggle with it. So,
Yeah.
what do you see that's not working in business right now?
Right now, what we're struggling with the most is the marketing aspect, and not so much like networking or getting to know people, but I'm having a hard time with the bride. Like this last year, for some reason, all the shows that we did where we were out there for brides, like bridal shows and things like that, we had a hard time, and it may be something on our end, but it just doesn't seem to reciprocate, like with all the people that we're connecting with. I mean, even if from 100 or 50 people to 500 people, we should be getting a handful, or we should be booking brides like crazy. So there's either something on our end that we're not doing, or it's just not working. And I've had both perspectives from other planners and venues and stuff that have done the same bridal shows that we've done, and they felt the same way. And so I think there is a solution to that, to the bridal show aspect, that we're just not working. So I need to find that out. I need to find out why it's not working. But that seems to be, but that may be because of the social media being so accessible right now, because it's so much easier to just get on your phone instead of going someplace and paying somebody to go somewhere else. So
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think people are sourcing stuff online more than ever. And people still go to shows, they still read magazines, as and most of this is supplemental, but if everybody's online, Google searching, map searching, Instagramming, right? You got to take your business and you got to focus your efforts there, because that's where they're at.
For sure.
It's going to get super crowded because everybody knows that's where everybody's at, right? So you've got to figure out a way that you can stand out as a business compared to everybody else. What can you do, right? So
and a small business like me cannot compete to a brick and mortar place. So and that's budget. That's just speaking of how much we can invest. I could sell my dog.
No, you can't sell your dog.
No, I cannot. No, but I'm just saying, just to be extreme, to meet with their demands and stuff like that, and how much the cost is and stuff. But is it an investment? Is it worth it to me? And this last year we did Fort Worth Bridal Show, and that was a fantastic experience. I definitely had a great time networking with a whole bunch of those vendors, and a great time establishing ourselves. But there were, like I said, a couple of things that we did wrong that we need to adjust to better advertise ourselves. But then hearing back from the feedback from other people and saying that I just never got anything out of it. What does that look like? What do I need to do to improve myself and to make that? So we may try this again. We're on deck to do Fort Worth again. And hopefully it'll turn out better this time.
Yeah, you just have to figure out how you stand out. Presenting planning opportunities at a bridal show is pretty difficult, right? I mean, without just passing out some flyers and maybe showing some videos and some pictures. I mean, so you really got to go all in and kind of maybe present something that is like, oh, maybe a staged environment or something, right? Where you're actually
Right.
staging an environment and you show your planning expertise, right?
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a
Right.
planner, so I couldn't tell you, but but
Yeah.
you got to stand
Absolutely.
out. The other thing that I would say online is I don't think you need to put that much thought into like a productionized part of your marketing online. I think if you just be authentic who you guys are, what you guys do. And because I hear this from like people that are in the event design industry, are part of this business, and that are, they're doing really well. One of the things they say is, I just, figured out how to be authentic with myself about who I am, what I do, what I offer, and that actually made them turn, get over that next level.
So
And
cool.
maybe document the process, show behind the scenes, show what you guys go through day to day, and present that, because that's what people want to know, right? I mean, when you charge $5,000 for full service planning, what are people getting for that? They just see the $5,000 price tag and they're like, it's $5,000, that's not in my budget, right? But if you show them, look, man, I'm putting 2 months worth of my time into this, here's what goes into it. I'm researching vendors, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's what people need to see. I think if
Yeah.
you can show that and put that online, you'll that makes a difference. So
Awesome.
something to
Good.
think about.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you're young in this business, but you have 5 years worth of experience.
Sure.
What advice would you give others that were coming up?
To be in this business,
Yeah.
be patient.
Great.
It's a hard job. You're working with changing people's lives. I mean, they are literally transitioning from one stage of their life to another. And so sometimes a lot going into that is scary. It really is. And you have to be able to ease them into that carefully. Whether you are a planner or you're a caterer, your demeanor and how you handle people and how you put excellence in what you do, it should be worth the price that they're paying you. And they should walk away with the idea that, I felt comfortable working with them, and that this was worth the process.
Yeah.
So
I got value out of that, right? I mean,
exactly.
It made a difference to me. Yeah, absolutely. That's
Exactly.
awesome. Yeah.
Make it memorable for not just the fact that they're getting married, which is huge, but make it memorable that that you thought about every detail, that you were considerate of their feelings, and really thought about them and what they wanted.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. All right, so what's your best or worst, could be worst, wedding or business story you got for me?
Oh my goodness.
You got stories.
Oh, I got stories.
Okay, let's go.
I think I'll give my best.
That's perfect.
I think I will. My best wedding story that I have was a wedding couple that she knew she needed help, but she just didn't know what to do and where to go from. And we were still starting out, so we were like brand new with this whole thing, but she trusted us to help her and to get everything together.
Awesome.
Well, things just started, it seemed like things were starting to fall apart, and that her family friends were telling her that they don't have it, that Life Events didn't have it. They didn't know what they were doing, and we could do this so much better. Come the day of, when everything was unfolding, they thought differently. And they came back to us and they're like, we are so sorry. We said this about you, but we were totally wrong. So thank you so much for changing our minds about what we did and how we did it and stuff. And that was the best. I think that was the best wedding.
Makes you feel good, right? Like,
oh man, yeah. But and you go through your process and you're just like, you do this every day, but you don't realize how much of the impact that you have on people until they do say, and they're like, you guys don't charge enough. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So let's raise those rates.
Send you the bill afterwards, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that just makes, I love that feeling. And that's why I keep doing what I'm doing, because I get those clients that say, you know what, this was, I don't know how you would have I don't know how I would have handled it. And you
Yeah.
handled it so well. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Great story.
yeah.
Heather, Madison, thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate your time, and have a good one, guys.
Alrighty.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. I hope that you found it helpful. Please share it with other people. Also, if you're getting married or you work in the wedding industry, I would love to interview and share your information with other people. Send me a text 520-399-8580 or shoot me an email at letschat@wedding.report.